Welcome to this exciting tutorial where we will create a game using LibGDX, a popular framework for game development in Java. In this video, we will be covering everything from setting up your environment to incorporating game mechanics. Get ready to unleash your creativity. First, let's set up our development environment. We need to install Java Development Kit, JDK, because LibGDX is built on Java. You can download the latest version from the official Oracle website. Next, we will need an IDE. I recommend IntelliJ IDEA or Eclipse, both of which support Java development perfectly. Once installed, let's create a new project. Now, navigate to the LibGDX Setup tool, which you can find on the official LibGDX website. This tool will help us create all the necessary project files. Fill in the fields in the Setup tool. For example, give your game a name. Let's use My First LibGDX Game. You can also add your package name, version, and so on. Choose the platforms you're targeting, which will default to desktop, Android, and HTML. Once you are done, click on Generate to create your project files. After generation, unzip the project folder. Open your IDE and import the project. For IntelliJ, select Open and choose the root folder of your project. For Eclipse, you might want to select Import Existing Projects. Let's see the project structure. You'll find separate modules for each platform we chose. Inside the core module, this is where we will be writing most of our game code. Let's navigate to this module and open the core source directory. In the core source directory, we can find a main class named myfirstlibgdxgame.java. Let's open this file and take a closer look. This is the entry point of our game where we initialize various game components. In the create method, we will initialize our game screen. To do this, we need to create a new class that extends screenAdapter. Let's create a new class called main_game_screen in the same package. Now, let's modify the create method in myfirstlibgdxgame to set up our main game screen. We will also implement the render method in our main_game_screen class to handle the graphical updates. The render method is called everyFrame, so it's essential for drawing graphics and updating logic. Now that we have a basic structure, let's add some graphics. We'll need an asset folder for our images. Create a directory named Assets in your core module. For this game, we'll create a simple catch game where the player catches falling objects. You can use any image for the falling object. For this example, let's say we have an object called apple.png. Place this file in the Assets directory. Next, we will load this image in our main_game_screen class using an asset manager. First, declare an asset manager at the top of your class. Next, initialize the asset manager in the show method and load the image. We need to ensure that our assets are loaded before we render them. We can check if the loading is complete in the render method. Now that we can load assets, let's render the image. First, we'll need to declare a texture variable to hold our apple image after it's loaded. Once our apple texture is loaded, we can assign it in the render loop. Remember, access the texture from the asset manager. Now we can draw the apple texture on the screen. First, we set up a sprite batch. This is the tool we use to draw images on the screen efficiently. Finally, we'll render the apple in the render method after clearing the screen. To do this, bind the batch, begin drawing, and finally draw the texture. Next, let's implement some game logic. For our catch game, we need to update the position of the apple as it falls from the top of the screen. Now ensure the apple resets its position once it goes off screen. Let's check if the apply coordinate is less than 0. For the player to catch the falling apple, we also need to implement some user input. We can use touch input or keyboard input. In this example, let's implement touch input to move a player character horizontally at the bottom of the screen. Now let's draw the player character. You can create a simple rectangle to represent the player. To detect when the player catches the apple, we will need collision detection. We will check the bounds of both the apple and the player character to see if they intersect. When the player catches the apple, we can reset the apple's position and increase the score. Let's create a score variable and display it on the screen. Now, let's display the score using bitmap font. We first need to create an instance of bitmap font in our show method. In the render method, we will also draw the score in the top left corner. Let's add that to our rendering logic. As a final touch, You can add sound effects for when the player catches the apple. We'll load a sound file into our asset manager and play it upon catching. Understand how to import and use sounds within LibGDX. That concludes our basic catch game build using LibGDX. You can enhance it further by adding more graphics, levels, or even character upgrades. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below about your game ideas or any questions you have. Stay creative, and I will see you in the next video.